Hey, it's quarantine check-in number 11, but quarantine is totally on the back burner now. So the last time I checked in, Kansas City was on a soft reopening and everybody was, getting excited about putting their big toe back into the world ever so slowly with restrictions. We've all been staying away from each other for a couple of months now. Well, I guess it's June. I think today's June 2nd. So I would say 3 months we've all been, keeping our distance. Like I've personally been close to like two people where they're within 6 feet. Like I've barely come in the store and stuff like that, but everybody's really been keeping their distance. So stores are getting ready to reopen, and some of them have. And then George Floyd was murdered by a white police officer in Minneapolis. He's African American, and everything is different. Everything is different now. The whole entire world was quarantining together, and now the whole entire world is outraged. And there are riots, and there's some peaceful marches, for Black Lives Matter. Totally understandable. I mean, the world is in an outrage. Other countries are in an outrage because our president is an outright racist and tries to cause conflict. And nobody wants the United States to lose it. It's getting real weird out here. I'm telling you, it's odd because on a metaphysical level, on one, you can create your own reality, which I do, and my reality is just as real as any other reality. So, I publish my book, I work on my projects, I work on my garden, but then there's another reality, and that's more of a collective consciousness reality. But now all of the people who have been staying home to avoid getting coronavirus are all in tight quarters, some not wearing masks, out on the streets, and it's getting real crazy. And it's like, now it really kind of feels like the end times. And then last week we had flooding in Kansas City, just massive flooding, and a lot of people had water in their basements and stuff. And it just kind of seems like a lot. So it was already weird. Everybody, I'm sure, felt weird, like thinking, when is everything going to go back to normal? And then now it's shifted into this other thing. So when I walk around the streets and everything, what I feel is everyone's a little nervous. We're already nervous because we don't know if we're going to breathe coronavirus germs on each other. And then there's this, like, it's not just like black, white. It's white. It's white people that want to come to the defense of brown people, any people who have been mistreated by the police. And then there's white people who appear to sort of be Trump supporters who don't want to come to the aid of Black people being mistreated. So there's so much like unrest right now on one level, and then there's another level of, oh, it's a beautiful day, the sun is out, I'm breathing air, I'm eating food, I have a roof over my head. I don't know, I guess it's like a lot of levels of reality that are happening right now. And, everyone's saying that if you don't speak up and you don't get involved, then you're part of the problem. And then there's other people who are quitting Facebook because all people are doing is talking about problems and arguing and debating, and people don't want to hear that. So people are like quitting Facebook, or nobody really quits Facebook. They threaten to quit Facebook. And then that whole alien thing, there is so much stuff showing up on UFO sightings. And then, Trump is doing this Space Force thing, I'm sure I have my facts wrong because I really don't follow him. I can't deal with it, but I still think aliens have something to do with coronavirus. I mean, I don't know what that means, like, not like little green men, but I mean, I feel like maybe, I don't know, like it's something maybe that we've never dealt with. So it's like alien, like foreign to us, not necessarily other beings from outer space. And then scientists found an alternate universe where time runs backwards. So I think these are reputable sources, like real facts, but then now, how do you know what a real fact is if you didn't see it in front of your face? And then it's kind of like a lot of people are showing really good things, like police officers taking a knee, giving people hugs, saying we're with you. It's like, I know that I don't want to, I feel sorry. As a white person, I'm walking around feeling sorry. I guess it's white guilt. Yes, I suffer from white guilt. Or like our president, I don't want to be held accountable for what he does or what other white people do. So then you're like kind of have this shame. But then I pick up mail at a police station, so I like the people that work in the police station, and then I want them to be okay too, because not all most police people probably aren't bad, and so then they probably feel weird guilt, and they probably didn't do anything, and then it's just so interesting. It's interesting in kind of a horrible way. It really does feel like so chaotic that I think I'm numb because there's too many feelings to feel, or I am just like, ooh, look at this pretty flower, just trying to, it's a lot. My next trip is going to Minneapolis, which I guess it's a lot of damage. And from the riots, that's where he was murdered. On the plaza in Kansas City, they were just getting ready to reopen, and then like Unity Village, somebody threw a rock through the window. I love Unity Village. It's just a beacon of like joy, and Unity is all about inclusiveness and being happy with yourself and not being hard on yourself. And, but I guess, black churches have been burned. It was probably a white person that threw the rock. Like, that's the weird thing, is that a lot of the looting and things are done by white people. It's all what is going on? A lot of anger. And then I saw this video. This very attractive black man did a video, and he has this video of he's like, there were two white men that got dropped off in his neighborhood, and it's an upper class black suburban neighborhood. And he's like, these white men got dropped off in my neighborhood, and you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to call the police on them. I'm not going to go up and ask them what they're doing. They're allowed to walk around the sidewalk if they want to. They can do whatever they want. And so then I'm just thinking, you know, as a woman, weird white men walking around my neighborhood, I might give the neighborhood police a jingle and say, they're kind of sketchy looking. As a matter of fact, I have done that, and they were white men. And there's some sketchy dudes doing some sketchy things around here. And I have wanted a police officer just to drive up and down the street, just so it doesn't seem like such an inviting place. But never on a black person. For me, lone men walking around can be threatening to a woman. In general. I mean, but I really took to heart what he said on his video, and he was absolutely correct. People do have a right to walk around. I go walking around in weird neighborhoods because I like to look at the houses. I think it's interesting. I want to see the gardening. I want to see the porch. I'm non-threatening, but apparently a middle-aged white lady is threatening because we're the type of people that might call the police if you're walking around the neighborhood. So it's kind of it's like those rat kings where they just like, they're all biting each other until they get stuck. It's kind of what it seems like if I had to put a visual to it. It's a tangle of emotions and fear, and I hope we come out of this. I mean, worse things have happened. I mean, we're not getting bombs dropped on us, and we have food, we have Wi-Fi. I mean, ultimately, I think people want to get along, especially Kansas City. I think everybody's feelings are hurt. And then we want to be a good city. We don't want bad things to happen here. And I'm sure most cities feel that way. So coronavirus got pushed way off the edge. And I just found out that somebody who's like a client, their whole family has it in Kansas City. Because the whole Ozark thing was happening, where the people were in the Ozarks and they were like, oh my God, these idiots are going to bring coronavirus back to Kansas City. Well, one did bring coronavirus back to Kansas City for sure. And then this happened. So we didn't even know the ramifications upon ramifications upon ramifications that are going to happen. So I'm just doing this as an update, honest to God, in case we all die. I'll have my quarantines 1 through 11 so far. Tell people what happened. I mean, I don't really think we're all going to die, but it is getting very, very weird, and not in a good way. So that's my check-in.